Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History series. This is Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series, a live call-in program. I want to welcome any new listeners and the regulars. G'day Kev, how's it going? And everybody else out there that are not in the chat. Okay. Live call-in program. We welcome questions. Dezert-Owl loves answering questions, and he's very easy to talk to. The phone number is 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. Or you can Skype NinjaCat. That's NinjaCat on Skype. It's a white circle with a purple NinjaCat with a sword in it, to make that a bit easier to find. And if you can't call in, or if you just prefer to type a question in the chat, all we ask is that you put desert in capital letters and question in capital letters, and the rest in lowercase, just so that we can see it, so that you don't get missed. And also just be aware of how many emojis and capital I'm looking at all the capital letters in the chat already. Just be aware of how many emojis and capital letters that you do use in the chat, because when a lot are used, I don't know why, but it delays the upload after the broadcast, and it delays the upload of the chat after the broadcast. It can happen for up to 24 hours, so the delay. So just be aware of that. Anyway, welcome, and I'm NinjaCat. Let's get into it. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of recorded history, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are all man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the four main religions of the world in particular, and used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him, because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical burning up of the phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control, an ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, print media, and religion, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it based on the ancient communication and symbol. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, The sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the very beginning of recorded history. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it because they have engineered all of it, while they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it all comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemical aerosol spraying of our sky, to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all at birth by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, a Wall Street security. But they are all through with us now, as it is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. It says, we are a virus upon the earth. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And now, here's Dezert-Owl.
Welcome to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series, ladies and gentlemen. And hope everybody's doing out there today. And we shifted gears for the weekend. I was communicating with Anna the other day and found out that she, being in Finland, could not join our programming live, and she'd been a long-time friend and listener of our endeavor here. So we decided to mix it up. So we have a new time basically for our weekend, although through the week we're going to do 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. We're going to do on the week, we're going to take Friday night off, one night off, and then flow it into Saturday Morgan, and that is at 9 p.m. So you like to have it 8 all the way through, but I've not been able to adjust yet to this cold weather and the short days, and maybe we'll break it a little earlier. That way it helps out Ninja, because she's staying up late in Australia to be able to do this for us. So but anyway, so Saturday and Sunday will be at 9 a.m. Eastern time, East Coast time here in the U.S. And that way, as we can see with Anna, it's 4 o'clock over there in Finland. They're up further north of England already. Kev and Join the Dots, you know, they're staying up late till 3 in the morning, Morgan, to tune in, and I sure appreciate that, and wish that's the challenge we have, being on a global front now with our listening friends and audience. So anyway, we're going to work it out, and certainly any of you with a tube channel can bring me on over anytime if you ever wanted to do an interview. I'll work around your time schedule as best I can, okay? Because to be here, and today is more of a fellowship day. You know, I see it as that we got through all the dirty laundry and the garbage of this world over the last three broadcasts about the psychopaths who hate our guts and want to kill all of us and our families. You know, the from the Vatican, just an area in front, and then below them we got the Jewish front, the Khazar, Ashkenazi Jewish front. They run banking, they run all media, they run entertainment, they run music, they run the internet. Bill Gates and also his father, Planned Parenthood, where they planned on having abortions and selling their little body parts on the open market and putting it in cosmetics and foods and what have you. Just a very sick world we have, ladies and gentlemen, and then they want you to feel sorry for them and worship them at the same time. They want you to think they're the victims. So what a wonderful ploy they move under, isn't it amazing? You know, to make themselves. They kill a bunch of their own during World War II to make them look like victims, so they don't mind sacrificing their own, you know. And I so anyway, go back and listen if you're new to the broadcast. But start with I think 120, or excuse me, 220. 219. We just started a new series because Ninja had to relocate and we got shut down for a while. Now we're back at it. Okay, we tend to do virtually 7 days a week. We're going to do 6, and okay, so we're gluttons for punishment, but the, the punishment has been going on ever since I can remember, and so we get we either get tougher, or we fall by the wayside, But these people have not stopped me from speaking the truth, and I'm very happy to accommodate that, because there's people, they get part of it, and then or sometimes when somebody wakes up, then they think, oh, now that because they woke up to one issue, they woke up to everything, because everything's a conspiracy angle, But when we talk about words, the truth is, okay, to use that terminology, the truth is there is no conspiracy. Okay, that would be another way to put it, because that's the truth. Because these people are simply managing slaves. It has been a slave state and plantation from the beginning of the Aryan race, when they fell and they set up the puppet kingdoms all around the world, the pyramid civilizations. From that point on, we were all regarded in their caste system as slaves. The Aryan, came later as slaves, because they had the Aryan cousins and brothers, and then they kept growing and getting bigger, and finally they called them ass Aryans. You asses, get out of here, go over there to Nineveh and to Mesopotamia, get out of India, and while we run the show, the operation, hiding under the Brahmin priesthood, then um, you know, we'll uh, we'll let you work for us, okay? But then finally they got tired of him and didn't mind killing their own Aryans, it's just like the Jews killed their own Jews, so that's how the game is played, ladies and gentlemen. So there's no honor among thieves and murderers, no honor. They want to make themselves out as benevolent cultures, what they call that, philanthropists, they're with their Shriner hospitals and everything else, but they are mother sons of darkness, and they put on the guise of being benevolent and good, while in the back door they're raping children, and they're eating the virgin's flesh into the 32nd degree, and all this stuff that they do. Not all the factions do that, but the heavier ones that are deeper into the occultic do it, and that's when a lot of the people wake up. They didn't know that they were in a part of a Luciferian occult ritual, and under the guise of democracy, which really is a code word for communism. And then therefore these people, they go home and kill themselves when they realize what they've been made a part of. Worked all their life to get there, just to find out they've been lied to all the way through. Who wants to be a part of a lie, ladies and gentlemen? Do you? I don't want to be a part of a lie. Anyway, real quick, because what we're going to do is we're going to do the read. We're going to finish the read coming up next. But I just want to say thank you to Bruce out there somewhere, whoever you are, because I don't know who Bruce is, but he made a kind donation to the ministry. So thank you. The donations are so far few between, and so it really means a lot. I've been needing to get books for the last month, and I haven't been able to get the books I need to share with other people. As a public relations effort, and also to help those who don't have any money at all. Some people that are in need, and so I want to be able to send them. So your contribution, whenever anybody is contributing here, they're contributing to they're extending their contribution further by allowing us to send a book maybe to somebody in prison, or out there in the world. We're all on a prison camp. It's interesting that the buddy of Alex Jones, the operative that brags about his family being who, and all of them, Masons and CIA. And he gives all of the names of all the people that go onto his website to what's the name of that company? Sanford. out of Austin, and but his buddy in the UK, I'm not mentioning names, because I don't usually do that unless it's the big guy like that, But the other one I don't have. But all I know is that he was using the terminology prison planet, and so put two and two together. For 10 years they've been using the term prison planet, and so how doesn't that not fit, prison planet, right? So if you want to see a movie, it's got a little bit of adult content in there, so um, and this type of stuff, really isn't for little ones anyway, at all. But I know that some of us want to wake up our teenagers, and they need to be mature sooner than later, within all that's coming down and what's going to happen. So to figure out the game that's been constantly being played on us, and the scenarios that come down, and how to see things in another perspective is also important and relative. And Anna says, "I don't want to be part of a lie." I hear you, Anna. All right, so so I watched a movie last night, and it was called Domain. Domain, and it is about the underground survivors, people that want to. And I'll just make a couple points without trying to reveal too much here. They mention that there were 500,000 underground. Well, isn't that what the Georgia Guidestone says? That there will only be 500,000 left after they kill the 7.5 billion people. 500,000 went underground. So they're going to have 500,000 slaves that they pegged for the underground cities. And when I say cities, this is no exaggeration. I talked to truckers that went into the underground facilities, and literally the description, like one in Texas, and when the trucks drive up to it, the door opens up from the ground, and they just drive right into it, and then the thing folds back down, and they have cities, multi-layered cities underground, okay, with thousands of people, right now, and potentially more, as people go underground. So we're talking about something so vast. When that, and when I was watching it, I was thinking about the infrastructure. How they let all the infrastructure deteriorate up above. Why put the energy into refurbishing the bridges, and all this stuff when it's all going to go down? So they put all the lost trillions of dollars that the Pentagon can't seem to find, obviously, into the underground, which is just digits on a page. There's no real money. So the real value is labor. Labor is the real economy. Labor is what makes the wheel go round. And if we stopped working for them, then they could do nothing. But they gave us the funny money, which bought us a lot of entertainment and prizes. And so they had an unlimited resource, unlimited when you talk about millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. And so they did all their building underground for the last 40 years, in particular, since about after World War II, especially. They were doing it before that, even in England. I like watching this one YouTube out of England. They're called Explorer Underground or something like that, and they go into all the World War II tunnels that they built down there, and other really old caves, from the 18 and 1700s, the mines that were built. So these guys do a good job with that, and I enjoy going on their tour, and it's just amazing to see all this stuff. There's nothing, as we know, there's nothing that they cannot, or as it was in the book I remember reading a long time ago in my 20s, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, that there's nothing capricious in nature, but the implanting of a desire. Let me try this again. There's nothing capricious in nature, but the implanting of a desire indicates that it's. Boy, that aluminum is really getting strong on me. I've never had a problem saying this quote, and here now I am. Try it one more time. There is nothing capricious in nature, but the implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is within the constitution of the creature that feels it. Therefore, you never would have had the desire to accomplish or to know something unless it was within you to be able to achieve that thing that you so desired. You see, nothing capricious in nature. So whatever you can imagine, can be done, and probably is being done, because it's a part of our makeup. And then also there's some things that you could not imagine that they are doing as well. So anyway, check out the movie Domain. Okay, it was like from 2018, and they're underground. There's about 7 people that interact with each other through a computer monitor, and there's supposedly 500,000 of them underground. And so, isn't that interesting that the number 500,000 was what they were going to leave alive? Slave, lick my boots, slave, and come over here and work for me. Okay, so it was rather telling, because it also showed the insanity. I mean, would you really want to go underground and lock the door behind you when you're dealing with psychopaths who eat flesh? You know, to think about it, you think you're gonna do okay down there? You know, I mean, when the lights go out, you know what I mean? When the things start breaking up, as they will. No honor among thieves, ladies and gentlemen. No honor. They destroyed our world. What do you think they're going to do with the underground? They're partiers. You know, that's all they care about. Party. Let's have a sacrifice. Let's give Moloch another sacrifice. Okay, but since we can't have children underground, because you have to be up on the surface and have the effects of the sun for a woman to be able to be in a cycle not to mention the moon, but the sun. There's also another cycle with the sun, and so you can't breed underground. So they're going to do everything in a test tube, I guess, because they're going to be down there for 20 million years, as Dane Wigington said. It'll take 20 million years to rebuild the ozone layer, not to mention to rebuild the oceans, and all the things that have to start all over again. Not that it matters in our time window, but it's just so sick and tragic what these people have done. They have taken a blood oath, just like the captain of the Titanic. The priest. I get confused with their names, but I think the priest's name was Brown, and he tells the captain of the ship, "I'm giving you your orders, my son. Take the ship down." Okay, so he takes the ship down. Well, that's what they're doing now on the grander scale. They're taking the ship down. They took their orders. They've sold their soul and conscience to a cult, and so that's what they're doing. And I want to thank also Rhett for some kind comments. I did the review on the last program, and I enjoy reading the comments section. And so Rhett, thank you so much. He's stopped in almost on every program. Surprised to see he's not here today. And I had an answer I was going to do at the beginning for him. So I guess I could do that real quick. I think he had one quick question. Let me see if I can pull it up. We're working our way to the read, ladies, and by the way, if you want to call, somebody wants to call in with a comment or a question, before I do my read, you can do that. You can break in, okay? We're going to get this calling program going. I had to take care of business first. I had to get this scenario. Once I heard that they were going to go after anybody that talked about the Jews and call them anti-Semitic and cut off their head, well, then I got motivated and wanted to be the first one. So and actually it's not anti-Semitic. They're not Semites. That's the funny part. It's all a joke from their perspective. But I am anti-Khazarian Jew that wants to kill other people. I'm anti-Jew. That's correct. But I love the good Jewish people. The good. There are actually some factions that they dress in black. I don't know why they all wear black, but they appear to be anyway, at least, on of a different kind. Like in New York, they're in New York, and they say that these Jewish Zionists are not the Jewish Zionists. So they're coming at it from the Israel standpoint. And so there are different, factions that call themselves Jews. And so not all Jews are bad, but there are some really bad Jews, and they want to kill you. Okay. And they hate your guts, and they've been feeding you the papal bull for decades, ladies and gentlemen, and for centuries. And wonder why they virtually have been kicked out, at least of every nation, at least once in Europe, right? Why? Because their works are evil, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's see if I can find that real quick for Rhett. Okay, he says, where do all the megalithic structures come from? Was there something life-like? I don't know if it's life or like. Was there something like here before Adam? Oh, was there life here before Adam and Eve? Well, yeah, see, this is really the great enigma. because I never saw this coming. I followed the pro the priesthood propaganda. Whatever they said, I thought it was true. And that all of the races, I thought all of the races came out of Adam and Eve. And then after the flood, the great flood, all of the races came out of the three sons of Noah. You know, that's what I thought. But now it opened up when after I lost my apartment in Georgia, and I was stuck almost a year without my own home, and I was staying with my former friend's radio listener and also a radio sponsor, each of them about 4.5 months. And I just read. I had no computer, I just read. I read my books I've been carrying around for the last 20 years since my divorce, and then I just broke the books out and just 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, did nothing but read all of these history books, lost writings, scriptures, everything and I'm thinking, geez, no wonder why I carried these books with me. Not to mention dictionaries. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember what it was that specifically got me to see it, but there was important clarity in what I was reading and seeing how it was mistranslated. But basically, Adam was the first made. He was taken up into the throne of the sun. That's the Eden. It's a false word. It's Adam, the Atom. And then while there, it said that Yahshuah wanted to see what he would name all things while he made all things. So all things were made while Adam was in the throne of the sun. That's why they know that the galaxy goes around 26,000 years. 26,000 years, or was it 28? I get confused sometimes, but 26, 27, 28,000 years, a full cycle. How could they have known that unless Adam was observing all of that? That's why when he came down, he was called the Naga, not the serpent. He was called the Naga, which means the wise one. The wise one, Nagash. Nagash is the broader, because remember they abbreviated all the words. The Nagash, the Nalgesha, excuse me, Nalgesha would be the more complete. And there's the word Aisha. You see the royal eyes, the nail that came down, the gay, which means with the brightness of the sun, uh, Shah, Aisha, the royal eye. You see, so all of the bright one with the royal eyes that came down, the bright one with the royal eyes that came down. You see, but so what the Aryans did and the occultic did is they hid that, and they come up with the name Lucifer and call Lucifer the bright and shining one. But the bright and shining one is Adam. And so all of these other races came. That there's Cro-Magnon, there's Neanderthal, there's Oriental, or what we call Chinese and Japanese, those types, all on the east of the Eastern Asian front. And there's African. There's small brown people in India, and so what it is, the Aryan came last. The Aryan came last, and he was the one who came. Adam finally came down, and he knew how everything operated. He knew he was the one who was cranking. That's when it said, and so the Nagash is where it says in our corrupted versions that the serpent was more subtle. When I looked it up and followed the trail back into the pseudo Hebrew, and there it was, the Avram. Well, I knew that the Avram was the star ram, and the star ram is the sovereign. You see, star ram, the man, the beast that's on the highest mountaintop, the ram, and he represents the sun. And they blow the ram's horn every new moon. You see, they use the ram horn as well. So that's the sovereign. So he was sovereign. Why? Because he knew how everything operated. He was an archetype or a duplicate of Yahshuah, because Yahshuah also representing the sun when he came down through the line of the Nazarene Aryans would have had blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin. It's not to say that Aryans are better. They proved out that they were no better than anybody else because they are the fallen watchers who enslaved mankind. But nonetheless, it's clear that I am not of the African race, that they must have had a different Adam and Eve, a different original parents. And certainly if it can happen once, it can happen more than once. And clearly the African people are not Aryan. And but this is not to say one race is better, because all of us. It was a black Cyrenian, from North Africa, a friend of Yahshuah, who carried his cross for him. That was to tell us that everybody gets to go if they want to go. Everybody can go to back to the light if they want to, because we're all from the same spirit. You see, the flesh is the illusion. Oh, I think I'm better than everybody else. I'm more prettier, whatever. It's all smoke and mirrors, because in the end, everybody goes back to dirt. We came from the dirt. We eat the dirt. That's the serpent. You see, the serpent was cursed. What serpent? The flesh. And said, you will eat from the dust of the earth because you are cursed. Well, let's see. Do you eat food every day? Where does it come from? The dust of the earth, the mineral of the earth. You see? So that's the short of it. I've done some presentation on this on the Cosmic Essence channel, Rhett. So go check it out, okay? And then if you need a follow up, we can do a follow up, all right? Because we're going to be doing a talk program, and if somebody brings on a good comment or a question that we can take off with, we'll run with it as much as possible, And any first time caller, by the way, you get the Handbook of Christianity or any of the other 24 books that you prefer to have. One pick of the of the collection that's on Amazon now. And we're happy to do that, because our time is short, and we're not here to merchandise. Obviously, we can't survive without donations, and the book sales help us to then expand the ministry to do the things we want to do. All right. So, Rhett, thank you for your question. I appreciate it. Appreciate your kind words again and your involvement. All right. And I've made some wonderful new friends over the last couple of weeks here, and it's very touching to see that people actually get it. They the light bulb is not going off, the light bulb is going on. And then all of a sudden, then they start using some of the original terminology as well. Remember, the words are abbreviated. So when you see me going from the word shalom to a shalom, well, that's really it. It's the royal eye of peace, and the royal eye and sound of peace. See, the om is there, so that's the sound. Of course, in Western prejudicial Christianity, if they would have heard about the word om, they would think that has something to do with Lucy and in the sky with diamonds or something. But wait a minute, okay, there a town called Jerusalem, Yarul Shalom. Okay, so there's the om. It's right in the Eastern terminology. It is an Eastern word, and om backwards is mother. You see, and so where does the sound come from? It comes from the physical creation. The sound waves brought forth substance brought forth complex substance, and the complex substance brought forth life, and then it made a sound, and that's one of the elements of Gardin. But Gar means war, so Gardin literally in their that's one of their occult words. Gardin means the sound of war. You see, read it backwards. Dingar, sound of war. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention also, I've been hanging on to this card for several programs, Kev, and we're going to take your question on to the Cosmic Essence. We'll go there then, but yeah, we need an audio check. If there's any problem, let us know. I saw it did a slide. So anyway, I wanted to I'll throw in the chat here a word because Skype, and it's been a real pleasure to meet him, because he's a real has real conviction, and also has had a miracle in his life as well. During the time while he was listening to my program, he was cured of cancer, and he's really devoted to family, and just doing a great job in his life with his dedication and separation. That's the key, separate from this world. I'm typing, so that's why I'm stuttering here. Let me just type this in. The will of Well, it's not all good, Kev. You know that. All right. So there it is. So Kev with the H would have the H, and there's the K for the key also. The indoor is the key. So he's opening things up for himself. But literally, Kev, because you see it's the AV, it's not EV. E is the, there's a battle going on, like I said, with Eden and the atom. Eden, atom. Adam and Eve, A-E. You see there's the duality going in the battle, male, female. So Kev is Kav in the Indo-Germanic, more correctly. The AE would probably be combined, but then it literally means Kav means because AV is a star. There's your the pyramids come together, right, in what they call the Star of David, but it's not David's star. It came from India, and it's the star of life because it's got the 6 points. 6 is the number of creation, and so Kev is Kav, and it means the will of a star. So how appropriate. Kev, congratulations. You got a good title there. All right. And so got that taken care of. Taking care of business. Okay. Just so glad I could get away from that awful topic, of people that want to kill us. So they're coming. They're not going to stop it. One more word before I get on my read. I've got looking at my cards here. It's the only way I can do this. I've got to have cards. Okay, Kev. So, okay, so here's one more word. I'm going to type it in there. And so just hold back whenever I'm typing, before making a comment, make sure I'm done, because I like to have the flow. Ninja's going to take a graphic of it usually, because what's happening is after the program, when we come back and do the review, geez, some of my words are gone. And they got this top chat thing. I don't know what this top chat thing is. It's there right now and it's live. So why would I want top chat and to choose? I want all the chat in there, so I'm not touching it this time. Last time it popped, and but yeah. So the words, they figured every way they can make it so the people just can't communicate with each other. They're all these little tricks they pull, and you know who YouTube is, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do, put it together. Right. And so the hoodoo, the voodoo, the voodoo. So anyway, let me type this word in, because this is always been an interesting one to me. I've seen this a long time, and I'll just share it with you, because I know I've got to do a review of a lot of the words that I've done already with others that are already on the broadcast, different broadcasts. But sometimes people aren't going to go back and listen to all that stuff, so I've got to just do it this way here. Okay. So and okay, and so if it's illegal, it's an illegal, you see. Legal, lego, the goal. Lego is the goal. I spelled legal wrong probably. I think it's L-E-G. Jeez. All of our words are wrong, and that's the problem now. And now that I'm into the prime root form, I sometimes can't even remember how the modern incorrect spelling is, but I think that's legal. Legal? Is that legal?
I think
Ninja?
that's
Did I
right.
get?
I think so.
Okay,
I
legal.
have the same
All right.
problem, and
It don't look right.
I'm not
Yeah.
as advanced as you in the
Right.
original
Well,
thought.
right. Well, you can
Yeah.
see how eagle is spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Right, because it should be L-E or E-A-G-E-L. Gal, right? Gal. So that's how they do it. Just like in words like Michael or different terms, or Bible. I'm trying to think of other words real quick, but the E-L and the L-E are constantly switched back, one way or the other, or like in the word angel and angle. Again, these letters are just flipped. That's the code. That's confusion. That's Babylon. You see, that's why nothing makes sense. And then think about it now. This thing about the double-headed eagle and the vulture and the phoenix. Then so when the phony moon landing occurred, right? And Neil, whose arm is strong, he's the strong arm. Nail. That's the nail is what goes down. There's the nail going down onto the moon, and the symbol of Lucy. She's totally an idea, and is not a real entity. And this is the hardest thing for people to really wrap their mind around. And It shouldn't be, but they've been propagandized all their lives, so we have to give them a break. But basically, when he was landing, what did he say? Or when he touched down? Houston, the eagle has landed. You see, the eagle has landed. So the eagle is their bird, but it really is representing the vulture and the phoenix. Okay, so these are interchangeable. In fact, if you see a bird high up in the sky, as I have done, I lived out west in New Mexico, Colorado, and other parts of the West. And if you saw a bird high up in the sky, it looks like an eagle, But then when it starts getting down, it comes down lower, lower. All of a sudden, whoa! It's not an eagle; it's a vulture. So the vulture looks like an eagle from a distance, but once you get a good look at it, just like the government, they got the eagle, but they're vultures, right? They are vultures. Vol for Volcan. Oh, the temple of the priesthood. There's the vulture, and that's why the pharaoh wears the vulture on his headdress, right? He's got the cobra, and he's got the vulture, symbols of life and death, life and death, and the who is it? The Persians, the ones who followed Zarathustra, oh geez, Mithra tradition. There in Persia, the Mithraites, they when their loved ones died, they put them out in a field, and they let the vultures eat their bodies so that nothing would be left of them. So that was a rather interesting tradition. I never could wrap my mind around that one, but that's how they do it. They let the vultures eat the body, and I guess it saves a lot of work on burying and creating tombstones, but seems like a very strange custom. And okay, but so before we get and read, just one more thing, friends. We've been having a number of issues with the broadcasting that, and that phone's not ringing. I'm still waiting. I know that phone's going to ring one of these days. And don't forget Skype. Also, you can call in on Skype. And that includes Anna over there in Finland. That's called NinjaCat. That's one word, NinjaCat, NinjaCat. But we've been having a number of technical issues to get ramped up, and it's been challenging, and it's been even more challenging for Ninja because it's hotter in Australia than it is in Europe or here in America. There, with a few exceptions, but overall, okay. I see you got a question, Ninja. I'll be with you in a bit. Overall, it's hotter in Australia. Part of it's because it's closer to the sun when it's facing the sun in their summertime. But also it could have to do with the ozone layer. It certainly does have something to do with the ozone layer, in fact. But we also can be looking at the fact that Australia is more of a ramped up test for the bigger populations of Europe and America. And so they're getting it worse than anybody right now from that standpoint. Well, I mean, I'm not including Africa and India, though, and especially what Bill Gates has done to them, not to mention the United States corporation as a whole. But okay, so she's doing the program during the week when we do it at 8 p.m. Eastern time over here in America. She's doing it closer to noon time, and she literally is in they call them granny houses. I don't know why. It could be Papa's house too, I would imagine, but they call them granny houses, and they're it's like people build them in their backyard and they rent them out, to make extra revenue. It's a strategy a lot of people have when they want to retire and they can still get money coming in, and so she's in a very nice one, but it has a flat roof basically. It doesn't have the arched. It's arched, but there's no attic. In other words, it's got the beams that create the a peak on the roof, but there's no attic, and so you can imagine it's like a box, and all the heat builds up in there. There's no attic for it to escape, and it's hot outside to boot. So opening a window isn't the solution. Right, right. It's all roof. It's just roofs. The roof is the ceiling. That's my point. It's rafters. I used to build houses. I know exactly what I'm talking about here. And so anyway, if there's anybody out there that can help a lady out, she's got a cooler pegged. She's got no air conditioner, okay, and she'd be using a fan and putting water with it somehow to try to create a oscillating fan with a wet towel or something. I don't know how she's doing it, but so she found a cooler, an air conditioner, that's a freestanding unit for the apartment for $100. So if anybody can afford a 5 or a 10 or a 20, throw it the to the PayPal button there, and because we need to put that fix in for her. She's suffocating while she's doing the program, and it's making it very challenging for her mentally and physically. Okay, so we appreciate that. If you value this broadcast and want to keep us going, that's something that you could help us with. So I appreciate that. Okay, we normally don't ask for these type of favors, but this is a crucial one, and so thank you for doing that. Okay, if you're at all able, don't put yourself out. Just those that can afford it, anything would help. And most people don't realize a $5 bill. If 10 people did it, that's half of it right there. 10 people put out a 5. There you go. So all right. So I think we got Ninja said she's got a comment or a question. So Ninja, you calling in?
Ring ring.
All right.
I just want to add. I just want to say thank you, Desert, for anyone who has not been following or who is new here. Last year was a real challenge for me. I gave up everything and survived on 4 suitcases. So right now,
Well, we have to clarify that you got robbed. Your sister and your brother-in-law robbed you of your half of the estate and treated you terribly, treated you worse than an enemy, and
yeah,
and basically threw you out when you were
I had
taking
no
care of your mother.
choice. Yeah, I had
And
no
they
choice
kidnapped
but
your
to
mother.
leave everything
They
behind.
kidnapped your mother. Yeah.
Hmm.
So lost all of that, and so we managed to close. All of Canberra was surrounded by fire, and so we thought literally, the fire was going to take the town down because it had been burning what was it, like a
All the
billion
exits were
animals?
pretty much blocked. The only way out was
Right.
via
Right, but
uh,
this was the big
one
fire.
road.
This was
Yeah, and it got to the airport.
2018. In
Yeah,
2018,
yeah.
and it was the biggest fire that we saw in Australia. That literally
2019. Sorry,
what?
2019.
Well,
Summer of
2019.
2019.
Okay,
Yeah.
summer. All right. Well, no, you came to America. You sure? I thought
Yeah,
it was 20.
2019, 2020. I came back to Australia April
That's right. All
2020.
right. That's right. I got you. I
Yeah.
remember now. So anyway, that's they said something like, how was it, a billion or 5 billion animals died in all the forests that burned? It was big, right? It was
It
like
was
a
over a
billion.
billion. It was over.
Yeah. Yeah, they
It was
estimate
a
that
lot.
many animals died. So this was a major event. So we told her to pack it in. We arranged so that she could stay somewhere in the U.S. and we got her here, and she stayed here for several months, and then made it to the West Coast to another friend that we had, and then she was able to fly back because the way the quarantine situation was looking, she wasn't going to do good here because back in Australia, she at least gets a stipend that allows her to pay her rent
Yeah,
and
I
to
got back
get food.
before they shut down the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like me. I get enough to have food and shelter, but not enough for an automobile or anything like that. So, but anyway, so we're taking care for it in our basics, but the extra expense is the challenge. You see, that's
Yeah.
what it's going. So
Yeah.
I interrupt and just go back to you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for filling in the gaps. Like I was uh, homeless. I was homeless for most of last year, and I did have some savings that I could not access when I was in the US. There's all these reasons that like I could not wait to see the back of Australia. I wanted to get out, and um, then yeah, then it turned out that I needed to come back because I couldn't access things to survive. So yeah, so I accessed my savings. I lived off my savings and the government last year, just trying to survive and find a permanent place to live. Yeah, so I now have a roof over my head, but I've gotten used to living just with what I need, and no creature comforts. I'm just thinking of those words.
No serpent comforts, you mean.
Yeah, and like I'm happy to not have a lounge to sit on if it means I can cool down this flat, because I love this little flat, and the only thing that's wrong with it is it turns into a sauna for half the day, and it's really hard to cool back down. Yeah, so thank you, Desert, for that.
Hmm.
And uh, do you want to get into my question now?
All right.
Okay. um, you were talking about vultures.
Mhm.
You were talking about vultures. Oh, just sorry, I just looked at the chat. Yeah, um, uh, my sister and her husband wanted me either in the street or dead, and they exhausted me and bullied me to the point of exhaustion, mentally and physically, and made it look like I was incapable of looking after mum, from no help from them, and then they swooped in and they kidnapped her, under the pretense that they were giving me a break and they were going to bring her back in 2 weeks, and she never came back. So,
They lied. Hmm.
yeah,
Right. So Ninja never got a chance to hug her mom, knowing it was the last time she was going to see her. Never got to
yeah.
do that.
I had to deal with uh, mum's dog, and my two cats. I had to give those animals up as well, and I won't go into that any further than that because I don't want to get upset
Yeah,
again. Um,
that's right.
yeah, so
And by the way, I, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, I was just going back to the question.
All right. Well, real quick, don't want you to forget. We got to change part 11 to part 12 so nobody's confused. Okay.
Yeah, sorry,
When we get off,
it's the
or
middle
or
of
when I start reading, you can do
yeah,
that. Okay.
it's the
All right.
middle of
Thank
the
you.
night here, so please forgive me
All
for
right.
forgetting.
All right. She was doing it in the heat of the day. Now at least the weekend's going to be in the middle of the night. So
At least it's
all right.
cooler.
We're
Um,
never going to let her get rest. So
this is my job, Desert. I wouldn't have it any other way. Anyway, um, thank you, Anna. Thank you. It's been tough for all of us, so yeah. Um, it's sad, and it was also very. I learned a lot. Yeah, so I wouldn't change any of it. Um, yeah, I have to look at it that way.
she
Yeah.
took Amtrak from the East Coast to the West Coast. I never did that. That would have been fun to do. So she got to do that while she was here and got to meet a few people. We didn't get to meet, but she just passed right through past us on Amtrak, just 2 hours north of us.
Yeah, I
And
got so close. I
yeah,
didn't actually get to meet Desert and see all his books. I was so close. Um, yeah, that's the one thing that I would have changed. Stopping in and saying g'day to Desert on the way through.
yeah, it's rather ironic. But the point was she had somewhere to spring back, and she got to take like a mini vacation. That was an opportunity, and do something she had not done before. Then visiting here in America, then heading back home, and then regrouping, and that's what she had to do. So she's got a story to tell, and I'm sure she'll share more of it
Yeah.
down the road somewhere.
Yeah, I kind
Okay,
of.
so
Yeah, sorry. Just one more thing. I
sorry.
kind of look at it like the Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. Like I didn't realize that. Like, yeah, I didn't realize that until I wanted to leave the only place I knew on this planet. And yeah, I didn't realize that until I left. And then
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
We
okay.
walked through the woods going somewhere, and we see deer. She walks through the woods and she sees kangaroos hopping down the road.
Big
So it's
muscly ones.
rather, yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
got some big ones. So, okay, so what's your question?
Okay. You were talking about vultures and the weird tradition with the way they leave their dead for the vultures. Um, does it matter? Because it's just our body is just something that we inhabit while we're here on this earth. Does it matter what happens to it after we die? Like, because there's so much, like, uh, the gravestones and the graves and the money that you have to spend on a funeral is ridiculous when the person's already dead and you have to spend a fortune. Um, and then there's cremation and like scattering ashes in the ocean or wherever. Like, there's so many different ways. Or there's the like uh, the mummy. You wrap the with their tradition. Does it matter? Does it matter what happens to our body after we die? Does that matter at all?
No, well, it's like, does it matter what happens to your house after you move out of it? It doesn't matter because the spirit of the Father, if you are one with Him, if you're uh, fulfilled within the and become the second born, then you are born of the Spirit. And so Yahshuah, as we're going to hear in a little bit here, uh, taught where he defines more specifically the purpose of what he did and what he wanted to show, the carnation, the full blossom of the carnation of our being and our potential. Then he, because he is the first atom, atom. That's why when he says you didn't visit those in prison, you didn't visit me. Why? Because we are made of him. He is all things, and therefore, uh, when he came back from the dead, he said, don't touch me because I'm going to go to the Father. And then he went to the Father. Then when he comes back, um, uh, he says, touch me. Touch my hands, touch my. So when he's coming back, he says, I have taken on the form that you know me by, so that you could recognize me. But I can take any form that I would need to do. And so no doubt that what who we are in the form of character, in our appearance, probably then would be reconstituted because we're preserved. This is the term that would. This is the only meaning. Could be the only meaning of the terminology "inherit the earth," because we're told to hate the world and not to love the things in the world. We're not of the world. Therefore, why would we want to inherit the earth? You see, but if the earth is our body, then that's what it means, because the we inherit the earth. So we will be reconstituted when we go back. The decay of the body into the atomic level is nothing but another illusion.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just another illusion. Because, in other words, because you didn't die, death has no more dominion over you. So you. That's why he told them that there are many here who will not see death before they see the victory of light in the royal house of the Son, the kingdom of heaven. You see, and so when one is made alive, that death no longer rules over them. So your body mortally passes, but you do not die because you are a spirit. So everything is an illusion from that standpoint. Even the wicked, they don't die. They're going to wish they did. They're going to wish they did, because where they're going, wherever that is, it's not. It's the judgment. His judgment is perfect, and so they will get what they gave.
That will be a permanent
Okay.
reminder, endless reminder of how they behaved on this world, yes? Where
Well,
they're
I
going?
think even if we were good people and we didn't make it back to the light, I think that would be the greatest tragedy, because just
Yeah,
being not being able to go back to the light.
yeah,
But the wicked, like the George Bush Senior, who admitted on his deathbed that he killed Nikola Tesla, And of course, he was participating in killing the 3,000 and the destruction of the Twin Towers, and on and on and on. His corporation for oil company was Zapata. Zapata being a Mexican uh, drug lord criminal. You know, all of this insanity that they just embellish as the Brotherhood of Death and Skull and Bones. They're gonna get the worst torture they could ever imagine, because it's divine judgment upon them, because the natural law says, and the perfect example of that natural law was when Yahshuah was betrayed by the Judas, because when Judas then saw what was happening to Yahshuah, he rebreathed. He felt he was sorry, and he threw back the money, and then he went and hung himself. And when he hung himself, so Yahshuah was hung, and so he hung himself, and then Yahshuah was pierced with the spear, and then the rope, the branch that he hung himself on broke, and he's impaled, and then he falls down into the garbage dump below, off the cliff, and that is, you know, one has to read the other writings, of course, that were stolen from us, the other gospels and such, because this is a clear account, and it says it in our one of our four gospels, but it said he was pierced asunder, and nobody, I don't think, when people read it, get it, because it's so crudely translated. But pierced asunder means that he was pierced on a branch, poked through, and then he falls down. So he got exactly what he gave. And that's the way it is in the natural law: eye for eye, tooth for tooth, for those who are in the other world, in the lower world. For us that are transcending, we have forgiveness. We rebreathe, we're sorry, and we want to better ourselves and put on the light. And so therefore, um, whatever we've done, is forgiven, and it's beautiful, that we have that opportunity, that the divine purpose was to create a new creation, but not in this lower world of insanity. It's the other world of up above in the light, and the sun represents that. The sun is merely the logo. It is merely the representative. It is not the final destination, but it is the Stargate. That's really what it is. That's why they made a program called Stargate, because that's what it is.
So
Um,
this life on Earth, or this death on Earth, is really birth pains for
you
us.
could say that,
That,
yeah, growing pains. Sure.
yeah. Wow.
Right.
That's I love that. I love that. It
Okay.
just wow. I love that. It's so hard to sort of wrap your mind around.
Right.
Everything is backwards. Like the fear of death is wrong. We shouldn't fear death, because if we know where we're going, then
Well, that
there's
goes
no
back to
fear. There's something to look forward to, and
well, that
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, let me pull up.
Okay.
That goes back to the quote we just perfected, right? Because it really spells it out. That's what's so powerful. Here it is, okay? For all the sellouts of mankind, you can lie in life and even lie to yourself, but you will not lie in your death. Death knows no lies. It is your moment of truth. What you do in this life is what you carry on into death with you. How will death treat you for what you have done in your totally worthless life? There is more to this universe than meets your blind eye. We reveal who and what we are in this journey of life and death. Perhaps you will have to experience for yourself all the harm that you have done to others during your lesson in death and banishment from light. It is that which you cannot avoid. Drift endlessly on in space forever. It is your own choice. Your fate is already written. And that's the quote we had at the beginning of the program. So yeah, you see, so their moment of truth is when they're on their deathbed. The ego dissipates on the deathbed of the wealthy and anybody. They lose that ego of thinking how important they were. Then they realize, well, okay, I guess I didn't make myself. I was made by someone else, and Well, that's it. Anna, yes, death from here is birth to the other place. We have to die here now. We have to choose to die metaphysically, metaphysically, and then dying to this world is finding life.
Yeah.
And and that's the great mystery. That's what we talk about, of course, in this broadcast. So, Ninja, I want to take a break. Are we good? Are we good?
Yep, we're good, thank you.
All right. And so we're going to go to a 5 or 7 minute interlude. Then when we get back, we'll show you some important channels that we want everybody to know about that I highly recommend for getting fully informed. We need to be fully informed. We don't have time to watch a lot of the nonsensical programs out there or the half truths, but there are several good researchers, Dane Wigington, Deborah Treveris, and a few others that and so that'll be up on the board, and Ninja will tell you how you can get the books, and if you don't have the money, then we can get them to you as well. So just uh, don't go away. We're going to be right back, and do tell a friend. Okay, after all, you wanted to know, so you know that your friends want to know too. If you have any friends, I know when we wake up, we find out we're very alone. That's the great irony. So, and Anna, when we get back, I'll go ahead and before I do the read, I will address your question that you had as well. Okay, I've got a printout of the email and my notes here, so I hope I can get it out for you. Okay, so thank you, and Ninja, back to you.
Okay, we're going to a quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about the channels that Desert just mentioned and the books after the music break. So take a break, grab some coffee, stretch your legs, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History series. You're listening to Ask Dezert-Owl on the Forbidden History series. I'm NinjaCat, and welcome to anyone who has just joined the program, and welcome back, everybody. The channels on the screen at the moment were the ones that we were talking about before the music break. They're very, very accurate. They're very good researchers. They work hard, and they're very good at what they do. I think I still need to add headlines with a voice down below in the description, but I think all the other ones are there. I'll make sure all the links are in the description, but they should pop up in a search, in a YouTube search, if you just type in the channel name. Apart from TheCrowhouse, Max Egan has been kicked off YouTube. He's been banned from several other social media sites because he is spot on. So you can find him on BitChute. He's still making videos, and he's still getting a lot of interviews, doing a lot of talks. So he's out there. He can be found. Also, moving on, Desert has 24 books, 24 beautiful books available now on Amazon. Links are in the description. The Book of Wisdom is now available on KOBO.